Howdy folks, it's Not Jay from Not Jay's Tabletop Gaming, and this video brings us to the conclusion of the series for Fistful of Lead, Galactic Heroes-Star Wars, where I show the different crews I've created for my scenario for the Battle of Endor. This video is going to feature General Veers and his crew of Stormtroopers. Now I know General Veers was last seen piloting a AT-AT as they assaulted the rebel base on Hoth, and we see a snowspeeder crash into the cockpit, but apparently he escaped. So I'm going to go ahead and show that he made it all the way to Endor and led his crew of stormtroopers to the battle. So here we go, final video of the series. Strap on in and let's get going. Alrighty, here is General Veers. He is your standard Fantasy Flight Games Star Wars Legion model for character. Pretty fun to paint. I've said it before, I love Star Wars, and that's what makes them so fun to paint. He turned out really nicely, I think. Not a lot of color variation with him, but I think he turned out really, really well. I think I did a pretty good job on his rank placard there also. Turned out really, really good. All in all, very, very good quality miniature. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So let's take a look at General Veers. He is a D10 to shoot, D10 for close combat. He's got leader, dodge, encouraging, lucky, and the crew trait for Veers' crew is Deadeye. As we've said many times before, leader gives him a +1 to recover on the shaken or wounded roll with any model within 12 inches. Dodge gives him the ability to, when he is shot at and the shooter misses, he immediately moves 5 inches towards cover. Encouraging allows him to remove all the shock from any one model within 12 inches. And Lucky allows him to re-roll any die rolls once per turn. The Deadeye Crew trait gives everybody in his crew a +1 to shoot. He does carry the SE-14R light repeating blaster. It has a short range of 6 inches, a long range of 12 inches. Because it is a blaster, it is inaccurate, which makes it a -1 to his shoot rolls, but he does get a +1 to wound when he does hit. So short range, but pretty powerful. Here is our specialist. This is Tk789. He is a Stormtrooper Sergeant, as you can see by the orange pauldron on his shoulder here. He was a pretty good model to paint up. It's the exact same model as the other Stormtrooper Sergeant, so I mean, not a lot to see here. Not a lot of variation, of course. There's not going to be a lot of variation with Stormtroopers. There just isn't. But where the differences comes in are his traits. He is a D10 to shoot. He is a D10 for close combat. He carries the trait of fearless and deft, along with that crew trait of Deadeye. Fearless allows him to ignore a fearful presence. Also, he ignores penalty of multiple shock markers. So that's pretty handy. As for deft, we've seen it before. It allows him to reload, only taking a single action. So if he goes out of ammo when rolling a 1 when shooting, he can reload and keep firing the next turn very, very easily. And of course, he's got that Deadeye Crew trait. He carries the E11 blaster rifle and combat knife. That E11 blaster, of course, has a 12-inch short range, 24-inch long range, is inaccurate, making it a -1 to shoot rolls, but a +1 to wound. Here is our next Stormtrooper, Tk789. Again, we've seen this particular model before, but you know what? That's okay. It's, you know, is what it is. Stormtroopers are. There's not a whole lot you can do with Stormtroopers from the original movie, of course, or the original trilogy. They're good models to have. I like them a lot. For Tk789, of course, he is a D10 shoot, D10 close combat. He's the medic with the Deadeye and the E11 blaster and combat knife. Again, medic allows him to expend an action to roll 5+, healing a single wound. If he rolls a 1 or lower, he inflicts a wound. Again, he does have to be in base-to-base contact with the model receiving the medical attention. So that is Tk789. Here is Stormtrooper Tk234. He is the next Stormtrooper on the crew. He's just looking a little different because I have already added the Apothecary White from Citadel Contrast Paints, giving him a little more depth. I think I am going to go ahead and finish out these guys by putting the Apothecary White on it. I think it does look a little bit better. Not as stark white as and two-dimensional looking as the other models. So I think I'm gonna add that Apothecary White to all of them. Tk234, of course, is a D10 shoot, D10 close combat. He's got Indomitable, and that allows him to remove all shock markers by spending 2 actions. Kind of handy to have, as I've said before, allowing him to be able to hide behind a rock, hide behind a tree, center his being, and get all that shock off of him before he runs off. So pretty handy to have. Of course, he also carries that E11 blaster rifle and the combat knife, which allows him to win ties versus opponents with no close combat weapon. Finally, we've got Tk456, last guy in General Veers' crew. Standard Stormtrooper, nothing real fancy about him. Again, I think that putting the Apothecary White on the Stormtroopers is really going to help out, really make them look good. Maybe a little bit lighter hand than I did on that previous model, but I think it's still going to work out good. His trait is Nerves of Steel. What Nerves of Steel does is he allows to ignore the first shaken result. So he takes a shaken, he does not take any penalties in shooting or moving or in close combat. So pretty handy there. He is a D10 to shoot, D10 for close combat. Carries the E11 blaster rifle and the combat knife. So there you have it, General Veers' crew. Let's go ahead and take a look at them as a crew, and then we'll take a look at them individually. I hope you've enjoyed this series of me showing off my Star Wars models and how I stat them up for Fistful of Lead Galactic Heroes. I will have more of these in the future. Some people have made comments about how I make my cards, so I think I'm going to go ahead and do a video showing that. So you'll get to see some of the magic behind the scenes, as it were. And I do have one more video for this particular series. That's going to be coming out here soon. Be on the lookout for it. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you know when I post new videos, and come see the live show every Wednesday night. So until next time, we'll see you on the flip side.